Hey guys, Max here for slurv.com, bringing you the GPP knowledge for May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Make sure you guys build your lineups today with a margarita in hand in order to celebrate properly. So, without any further ado, let's jump right into it. First, I want to actually talk about some general GPP strategy. I got a couple questions on Twitter about being strictly a GPP player, so I just want to address that. I want to caution people who primarily play GPPs of the viewpoint of making money every day. Basically, what you're looking to do in GPPs is grind out and break evens, go slightly up, slightly down on most days, and wait for that big score where you top 10 or win or whatever tournament. So the only real way to do that is to have lasting, to last long enough in order to reach those huge days. So the main thing I want to stress is bankroll management. Just for an example, I play anywhere from 1 to 5% of my bankroll on any given day. And those 5% days are very few and far between. Most of the time, I am somewhere around 2%. The 5% days and when you have huge tournaments and lots of overlay where I go a little bit higher. So basically, what that does is make sure that when I have a losing streak, which I often do, everybody does, um, you do not lose confidence and it doesn't really stress you out because such a small percentage of your bankroll goes away. So remember, the only way to win is to be in the game. So practice that bankroll management, and you're going to be there when that big day hits for you. So let's move on to our slate today. We have 9 games at night, 2 games in the morning. I'm not going to talk about the 2 games in the morning because you should really just not be playing that slate unless you're a huge degenerate, which you guys are not. Um, so the pitching for the night slate is actually really straightforward, which makes it more conducive to cash games than GPPs. But I mean, it's not like I'm not going to be playing GPPs tonight. I still think there is some value to be had in playing GPPs. So um, the main guy that everybody's going to have on their teams is Jacob DeGrom for the Mets against the Padres in their cavernous ballpark. Padres are really, really bad against right-handed pitching. I mean, Tyler Chatwood basically shut them down yesterday for 8 innings and 7 strikeouts, and he's not nearly as good as Jacob DeGrom is. The only reason people might be off of him is because he's coming back off an injury. He had a little bit of a pitch limit last game, but I mean, hopefully that just decreases his ownership because I think he has the highest upside on the slate of any pitcher, and I really don't think there's anybody close that you can replace him with. I mean, he's going to be like around 90% owned. I'm in GPPs, I'm assuming. So on anyone who's that highly owned, there's merit to fading them on a normal slate. But on a slate like today, I just don't see anybody that approaches his consistency and upside. So just kind of plug him in and forget about it. The next highest priced option today is Tanaka. He's been very serviceable so far this year. So this pick kind of hedges on ownership for me. He's facing the Orioles, who definitely hit the ball well in their home park. But I think if I gauge that Hendricks, which I'm going to talk about next, is going to be, you know, is going to have twice or 3 times his ownership, I'm going to just pivot to him because I feel like they have very similar projections today. So Hendricks, who I just mentioned, is facing the Nationals, who, despite breaking out yesterday for a bunch of runs, still own a bottom 10 WOBA against right-handed pitching. It's cold in Chicago, and the wind should be blowing in, so that gives you even more reason to roster Hendricks. The only thing against him is that Madden has lifted him quite early in back-to-back games, so that kind of limits his upside. But hopefully, Madden only did that for pinch hitting reasons and not because he wants to keep his pitch down. I haven't heard anything about that. So I think he's another really good option today. Somebody else I want to talk about is Gaussman facing the Yankees, who starting to hit a little bit, but not enough where I'm not going to consider him. I think he has good potential to outscore Hendrickson Tanaka today at a lower price. So I think he's somebody you can definitely look to as your SP2. Last but not least, let's talk about Adam Conley. He's projected really well in my model due to his good K upside so far this year. He's facing a Diamondbacks offense that I really don't like to pick on, but I think he's, a viable option today in his home park, pitching and his team is also favored by quite a bit to win today by Vegas. So I think he's somebody you can look to for a cheap win and maybe some Ks. Moving on to the stacks, we have a ton of them today due to the multitude of mediocre pitching options. So the first one I want to talk about is Miami against Robbie Ray. Same thing kind of as against Patrick Corbin a couple days ago. We can target Miami righties. It's here some, I feel like, decreased ownership due to the fact that I'm expecting Toronto and Houston to be the highest owned stacks today. I like Real Muto. He should be leading off again. Ozuna, Stanton, and Prado here as a stack with some good upside. Next, let's talk about the Reds-Brewers game. I feel like you can target both teams here. Simon may be the worst pitcher in the league right now. I think some of the people in the Slurf chat room could hit home runs against him. So just think of how good the Red Hot Brewers are going to do. I think you can look to the usual suspects there at the top of the batting order and stack them up. Reds should also be popular today, although I don't expect them to be as popular again as Toronto and Houston. For the Reds, I like to drop down and do what I did yesterday and stack up the 3 to 7 guys in their lineup for some high upside for home runs. So let's talk about Houston and Toronto. I kind of mentioned them already. I think they're both going to be really popular. They're facing lefties in their home ballparks with the multitude of power bats that they have. I think we can look to some lower owned options on these teams and kind of mix them in with the high owned options in order to make your stack unique. I like Gaddis and White for the Houston stack, and I like Smoke, Pilar, and Martin for the Toronto stack as the under-owned guys. The White Sox yesterday let me down quite a bit. I had them mixed in on my Houston stack where I pretty much nailed everybody. So the fact that Melky and Frazier did absolutely nothing kind of, had me cashing, but not cashing quite as high as I would like to have while nailing the best stack of the night. So I think they're in play again today against Henry Owens, who's going to be a good lefty pitcher eventually, but I just don't think he's ready yet. Again, you can look to the right-handed power bats in the middle of the order. I think they're all in play today for the White Sox. Stack that's going to fly under the radar today, I think, are the Giants in the late game. They're playing at home against Colorado, facing Russin, who they should be able to get to quite a bit. I really like to stack up the late game whenever I can, just because it always has decreased ownership, especially on FanDuel. So I think you can use a little bit of game theory there and get some low-owned, high-upside bats into your lineup. All right, guys, I think that's it for me today. Again, if I don't win all the money, I hope one of you does. Come chat with us in the Slurv chat room today if you need any further help with strategy. There are very smart people in there giving out some awesome knowledge every day. So I hope I'll see you there. If you have any questions on Twitter, I'm at DFSMax. So feel free to reach out to me. All right, I'm out. Thanks. Bye.